What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first round of the Universal Plus tournament. Today we got Alistair repping Dr. Doom with Prep versus Shinigami repping Composite Yhwach from Bleach. As a whole, as I mentioned, the cap is Uni Plus, the speed cap is MFTO Plus. Now, let these two badasses go toe to toe.
Hello there, people. All right, so who would you like to go first, Alistair? Me or you?
I'll let you go first.
All right. For Yhwach, is that essentially what he was gonna do is that he was gonna destroy everything in the but let me show you one of the realms that like actually matter for this debate. Like I'm gonna show you the one that matters. It's Mukin. Now I'm gonna have to do a whole lot of establishment first. Like first things first, a whole lot of establishment to show you how the verse works. All right, Alistair.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to respond to that. Yeah, okay.
Just trying to let you know that first I'm going to be doing a whole lot of like establishment to show you how the verse is working. So to let you know is that there's this whole space called the Garganta that encompasses all of those space times that there is in the Bleach verse. I'm going to show you the first scan right here. One of those realms is Mukin. Hold on. I'll show you the other scan as well. Here's the original Japanese, and it's stated to be infinite in size. It's a pocket dimension that is infinite in size. So he's destroying essentially a uni plus space. You know, is Alistair on?
Okay. That is... Okay, yeah, so it's like similar to, I think I've made this comparison before. I think it's similar to the World of Void, where it's just an infinite nothingness. Is that correct?
You could say that.
Okay, then. Yeah, I'll accept the Mugen being an infinite nothing. So is that kind of it for your end?
Yes, it is. Oh, fucking hell.
Okay, then, well, I guess I'm gonna go. So, Dr. Doom is... Okay, so Dr. Doom scales above the Hulk as he fought and took attacks from him. And the Hulk has been able to destroy Nightcrawler's universe, and the universes in Marvel are stated to be infinite. And Hulk is also comparable to Thor, who was able to break out of a universal prison inside of the Tesseract, and in a clash with himself was able to exert equal force, I guess you would say, to the Big Bang. So that would also put him on Uni Plus.
Do you have the scans for that?
Yeah, I'm bringing them up right now. Just trying to... Oh, another thing I wanted to mention that wasn't the end. Hulk has also broken through the time barrier of a universal space-time and has fought Hercules, who was casually holding up the 616 reality. So, also Uni Plus. Let me just post the...
I accept that.
Okay, then. So do you... Oh, go ahead.
Now it's speed. I'll let you go first since I had the AP part first.
Okay. All right, then. So, for speed, I would like... All right, so for speed, again, Doom was able to keep up with Hulk, and Hulk is also comparable to Thor, and if you're able to, like, being comparable to someone also means that you'd be able to, like, being comparable to someone and being able to fight them and, like, on par means you also should be relative to their speed Otherwise, you would just get speed blitzed. So Doom has reacted to Hulk, who is comparable to Thor, and Thor has these speed feats to speak for him. I'm trying to get the calc. Oh shoot! I'm sorry, I was about to post the wrong thing. Oh, also, is it okay if I post the rest of the scans for the whole Hulk being comparable to Thor and the Hulk being comparable
Yeah, sure.
to
Yeah,
Hercules?
sure, you can do it.
Yeah. I know it's a little bit out of turn, but you know, I think that's it for now.
Alright, so my turn. So, as established earlier, is that Yhwach was gonna destroy the realms. So, now it's really important because what he was gonna do is that he was gonna go to the edge of the universes and like slam them together, you know. So, means that his like raw speed, like his spiritual energy, has to reach the edges of the universe. Now, how large are the realms in Bleach is the question. So, we have statements and confirmation that says they are about as large as our own universe. For example, right here, how large is the universe is, as you know, 93 billion light years. I'm gonna give you. God damn it. So the point is that Yhwach can do something similar, like what Thor is doing right here. Like his hammer can cross the universe. Yhwach can do pretty much a similar thing. Just to give you an idea. I had the calc. I can't find it anymore for some reason. I had it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll give you some time to find it.
God damn it. Such an old calc. It has to be there. God damn it, I already had it. Fucking hell. Find it. I can't find it for some.
I mean, if it takes some time to find it, then you can. I'll give you the time.
I just do a conversion right here on like a site that I use a whole lot. I might be wrong here actually. Might be wrong. It was quick. It's just meant to be a replacement. That's the speed that I got. I might be wrong though. By the way, it's a lowball because I assumed that Yhwach would take 24 hours. But the narrative implies that it took way less than that.
Okay, so what's really the? So this is like, this looks like it's like trillion to quad. This is this around like trillion or quadrillion? I'm sorry.
How many zeros is like quadrillions? Quadrillion. How many zeros is that? Fucking hell. Quadrillion is like 1,000 trillion? What? I guess there's an order of magnitude. Quadrillions? Alright, so let me see how many zeros is that.
Quadrillion is 15 zeros.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 30, not even like one more zero behind no, it's like 2 zeros behind quadrillions. Add a spirit calc to this, believe me, please.
All right.
Okay.
Well then, I guess I'm just gonna argue that the last beat that I had at the end of this calc, the quintillion would be above. Yeah, for those who didn't really hear me correctly, the speed calc that I gave at the, if you scroll to the bottom, there's this last speed calc for Mjolnir crossing the realms, and that would be quintillions. So even if your original calc is quadrillions, then in quintillions would be above that.
Have it?
But what did you say?
Do you have that calc?
It's at the bottom of the MFTL feature for Thor that.
Oh,
guys,
oh wait.
Yeah, just scroll down to the bottom.
Let me see. Mjolnir crossing the realms. 26 quintillion times FTL. I see. Right, I think I'll just use my method and like try to take it higher. Alright, let me see. God damn it, I did it wrong, I think. 5, 4, 6, 7. I accept your calcs.
Okay, so are we moving to hacks, or are you?
Yes, I want to move on to hacks.
Okay then.
God damn it. Alright, so one of the first hacks I'll argue is visionary. That is the first thing I'll argue.
Explain.
So basically, visionary is the ability to turn anything you imagine and make it a reality. This includes, for example, in that context, for example, Grammy turned Yachiro's bones cookies.
Okay. Well then.
He killed this guy, like right here. He killed this guy because he forgot he existed.
Okay. So you're basically saying that.
Now,
I really can't hear you.
now for one
Unless
last
you mute
thing
yourself.
that will close this speed gap that you have created, close the massive speed gap that you have created. Right? Yhwach can just basically imagine that he's just as fast as Doctor Doom, or even faster. So you can't really speed blitz me anymore. Yhwach can just imagine that he's just as fast as you.
Okay. Well then, we're going by imagination. Then, so you're arguing a form of reality warping.
It's technically subjective reality warping because you're basically transcending fiction and reality. Would you like to pay the links to subjective reality warping?
No, I get it.
All right.
Well, we're going by that. Then I'm just gonna argue is that he will warp reality back to what he originally wants it to be with the prime mover. Because with the prime mover, Doom stated that reality, he controls reality like it's a game.
Lol.
I'm here. So I'll argue that Yhwach can counter that through. I actually have a few ways to counter that, and through the Visionary and Base Almighty. Remy can also clone himself, doubling his imagination powers. Like, even like created the void of space with clones as well. So with the clones, like all of them, like respectively, even imagining their own things as well, even against Doom, it can overwhelm Doom's like reality warping because of like multiple people creating their own stuff. God damn it! I was so much better when imagining.
Okay, so to counter your clone thing, well, again, you know, prime mover, if he had, like, he can just, him reality warping would warp it to the point where you probably can't, like, create clones, or that your power is as potent, or also, and to counter the Almighty, then
I didn't present scans for Base Almighty. I just presented clone scans.
okay, so you're just doing the clones first. All right, so well, if we're only doing the clone thing, then Dr. Doom can match this or possibly even exceed it with his own clones, as he has an entire army of Doombots, plus he himself can create clones in his base. So just all of them. So it would just be those clones and those Doombots warping reality against all of your clones. And let me see if I can find the hands for this. They're pretty deep in here.
I'll argue that with. I never thought I would need this, but this is Base Almighty, to be fair. So, how Base Almighty works is that Yhwach can look into the future, he can understand your ability, and he's completely immune to it. For example, one of the main abilities that he countered with Base Almighty includes Ichibei's complicated name. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce that. It's basically existence erasure, I suppose. Right here. However, Yhwach was able to neg it via Almighty. Ichibei, by the way, he has conceptual hacks because he can manipulate the names and beings of things. I'm gonna get you all of the game stuff. I have a lot of scans with me. All right, so and Yhwach was able to neg Ichibe's like ability to change names and concepts of things via Almighty. So via Almighty, Yhwach will be immune to your reality warping. I think these scans get to the point.
All right, I looked at all the scans, and okay, I really want you to explain to me, how does cutting the name of something and the ability of something make him conceptual? Because I could just argue that him cutting the name and ability is just a really high level of reality warping and not necessarily conceptual.
Well, even if you said that it's only a high level of reality warping, it's you still didn't counter the idea that like Yhwach can counter Doom's abilities via Almighty. But even then, I think I would like to get the page of like versus Battle Wiki on conceptual manip. Like get the page on like conceptual manipulation. Here's the one that Ichibe's like ability manipulates. Names are a primary source of power in the Bleach verse, by the way. I'm gonna get you. I think I'm gonna get you. I have my.
Okay, so okay, so I just read that, and like it said, it's more so a domino effect of conceptual manipulation, while Doom has very direct conceptual manipulation. So I would just argue that Doom has a higher level of conceptual manipulation via his technology, as he was able to alter the subatomic structure of Galactus and even drain Galactus of his power. And Galactus himself is an abstract, as he is brother to Death, who is one of the Marvel abstracts in the hierarchy.
I guess I'll argue layers of power null for Yhwach because, like I said, this is base Almighty, and Yhwach gained more power as he went along. He absorbed the Soul King, then the right arm of the Soul King, granting him more powers of Almighty, because now he can like get to the actual OP Almighty. So I'll argue layers of power null for Yhwach as well.
Well, what? All right, let me see here. Well, all right, then I'll just argue that Doom has resistance to time manipulation anyway, as his armor protects him from temporal displacements, which is basically altering or interacting with timelines. And that is basically what the Almighty's ability is. So your Almighty ability wouldn't really do anything to Doom.
Well, what kind of like time manipulation did he resist out of curiosity? I'll present scans of like what the true Almighty can do now.
All right. So
We get Yhwach's Almighty is basically the ability to. You can see every single future that there is. Obviously, I'm going to lowball this. There's 2 steps of precog only. I'm going to lowball that. And he can change the future to his favor. So let's say he's like fighting you. Oh, I'm going to lose in that future? I'm going to like change to that future where I win. And he even revived himself with Almighty.
are you done with those scans, or are you gonna? All right. So Doctor Doom resisted temporal displacement or time displacement, which is described as a phenomenon which a certain element from one time period was misplaced into another time period, which you can argue is what Yhwach's ability is, as it's taking one timeline and changing the timeline to another. And for your power no, argument, then like well, I can just argue. Wait, actually, no. Well, not your power no argument. So you said 2 steps of precog, right? And because if that's the case, then I will argue. Ugh, I did not think that it is, but then I'll argue 2 layers of skill and adaptation and instinctive reactions.
So you're gonna argue for against my precog that Doom's skill is gonna carry him, right?
Well, that and the fact that his resistance to temporal displacements would mean your Almighty wouldn't really work.
All right, but with the skill, I wouldn't be like certain of that because Ichigo motherfucking Kurosaki, like he has instinctive reaction. He also has presented adaptation, exploitation, in combat. Yet Yhwach's Almighty is so powerful that Yhwach was like, "Look, Ichigo, I'll not be using my Almighty against you just to make it fun." And then when Yhwach activates the Almighty, when Ichigo is like actually relative to him, and Yhwach is using the Almighty because he's actually trying, Yhwach just immediately shit stomps Ichigo like it's no issue.
All right, so for that point, it's more since how much of that was more so just Yhwach being so much far above Ichigo physically than that was just because in this you already said that Doom and Yhwach are at least equal in terms of power, and you gave me the speed advantage. So, if that's the case, then Yhwach's whole shit stomping Ichigo, even through his skill wouldn't really matter because Ichigo was so much like weaker than Yhwach. Let's not forget, in the final battle, Ichigo only won because Aizen's whole ability was able to. Aizen had used his own ability on Yhwach so long ago, and he was able to manipulate the battle before that. So,
not sure where we're trying to go with that. But like, I would also like to mention that even like a stat difference, like Ichigo activated his Bankai, and it was stated that his Bankai is quote unquote formidable and powerful to Yhwach. That's why he destroyed it. But Yhwach's Almighty was able to neg it. So even when Ichigo is like more powerful than Yhwach, he can still neg it via Almighty.
okay, and I already argued that with the temporal displacement resistance, which is affecting the timeline and changing it, since Doom has resistance to that, the Almighty that would in turn neg the Almighty.
Dang, I was it. Have anything else out of curiosity?
It depends. Are you talking about anything else to counter your argument, or just anything else in general that I want to bring up?
I have some other things that I want to bring up as well.
Okay, so I'll let you bring those other things up.
No, not that one yet. So, hey, actually, never mind. I would be retarded. I guess I'll argue power null for Yhwach.
Okay, well, I would just argue then that Doom himself could power null Yhwach, especially because of the whole speed advantage and negging the Almighty. I would just argue that I could power null Yhwach, and I could power null him to a greater extent because Dr. Doom has. Wait, no, that was my argument for absorption. My bad. Okay. And then I'll just argue like I speed blitz and power null you before you power null me.
All right. However, to counter your power null argument, Yhwach has already faced that. Like, for example, Ichibei, like I mentioned, Ichibei power nulls you via like cutting your names and taking away your abilities. Oh fucking hell! Here's the scan. I'll be right back.
So, how you liking the debate so far?
Way to not disappoint me, God. It's pretty nice. I'm definitely not disappointed.
Yeah. Just need to get my head in the game, you know?
Yeah. Infinite just hopefully he has time to just edit out that first part before I did my announcement. And then like there was that one big echo where no one heard Alistair, just like how to edit that out, really. But like Then you had to like remember the part where you had to like repeat yourself, and then probably edit this out too. This talk, but that's probably this video. Other than that's really going smooth though. There's really not even any bumpy.
Shit, my bad. I'm sorry. I forgot we were recorded.
I'm not gonna lie, both of you people have improved significantly. I'm not gonna lie. You both have. Certainly enjoy.
Thank you to Corin and Niotic for the help. Y'all are legends.
Of course, man.
Oh, not
We was helping. We was amping both of them, I think. So I mean,
I ain't
both of
even
us were.
That's interesting.
I see Niotic talking with.
Sorry,
Steve, bro,
I
you
had
know?
to leave. I had to answer a phone.
No, he's back.
All right, let's
Okay.
edit this up.
Anyway, what did I miss?
Yeah, nothing much. I was just telling him. I was just asking him like how the debate went, like how they were liking the debate so far. They're
It's
like
honestly being very slow. Let's actually try to like fast pace this, especially since I had a long pause. Anyway, to get to the point, Yhwach has already faced Power Null, and he can just grant himself back these abilities, as presented within the scans. And it should also be noted that even with the still silver arrow, like negs, that was meant to neg Yhwach with so many layers of power null, it's implied in the narrative that it wasn't working and Yhwach instantly was regaining it. It's actually implied within the narrative. As you can see in these scans right here, what is happening is that when Yhwach got hit by the silver and Ichigo was charging towards him, it's implied that Yhwach was already regaining his powers, and by the time Ichigo was going to reach him and do the finishing blow, it would have been too late. Yhwach is already back at full power.
all right. Also, if you're gonna, how are you arguing Power Null? Are you arguing Power Null with the Almighty? Because if so, then I'm just gonna grandstand the point of time displacement resistance.
Not exactly via Almighty. This is another form of like power null, as I'm presenting in the scan. Wait. I'm sorry, I had to like answer the door for someone.
You're good.
Anyway, that's meant to be a different form of power null. Not the same as the Almighty. Where, unlike the Almighty, where it completely negs you, this one actually takes away your powers and Yhwach can have them for himself. So let's say Yhwach wants your like reality warping or something, he can just like use it to have it.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna argue. Like, has he ever shown his power null ability to be able to work on like a conceptual like level with Doom's technology? Obviously, being conceptual, then
as I've actually like shown as well, is that Yhwach's power null was able to like resist Ichibe's conceptual hacks. Like Ichibe cut his name in half, and Yhwach was like, "Yeah, I can just like grant these abilities back to me." Ha ha ha.
that's more so resistance to power null, not actually like him. Like from what you've shown, it looks more so like he just resisted those powers with his ability. So him resisting like that in form of power null might not mean that his power null is exactly on like a conceptual level. And even then I argued a higher layer of like a higher form of conceptual because Doom was able to affect an actual conceptual being.
I mean, I also like mentioned as well that like Yhwach recovered from his powers getting nagged with like the silver arrow was meant to like neg his powers, and like Yhwach was recovering it. Even though like the soul silver had like power null that is like higher than anything Ichibei has.
All right. Then
Okay.
even if you
There it is. I'm sorry, what?
all right. Oh, even if you were to say that that power null is higher than Ichibei's, like how is it like on the conceptual level that Doctor Doom's technology is on? If it's because the form of conceptual manipulation Ichibei has is indirect conceptual manipulation. So you could just say it's a higher level into that indirect layer, while I have like full on conceptual manipulation. So
Would you like to leave this point to the judges?
yeah, sure.
All right. I have another way to close your speed gap. Via compulsory, I can evolve to be on your speed level. All right, there's the scan. It worked. Via compulsory, Pranita was able to evolve so that he's on the same power level as Kenpachi. So, via compulsory as well, I can close the speed gap as well.
Okay, then I'm just gonna argue that, like, if you're evolving like that, then Doctor Doom is just gonna kill you off the bat, and before you can evolve like that.
Wait, you're gonna argue that like that Doctor Doom is gonna like kill Yhwach? How?
All right, so I guess one of my ways is like my own like matter manipulation. He can alter the biology of any living being, so he'll just turn you into, I don't know, a piece of poop or something, and he'll throw you out.
I'll argue via miracle that it won't work. Wait.
Hold on, what is the miracle?
The most absolute broken ability ever.
Explain it.
Basically, upon death, you grow larger, stronger, and faster. Even attacks that turn you into mush or like are meant to kill you, just revive you and like increase your capabilities beyond your limits. This is the best feat that I can think of. Gerard was like had his head blown off, then he crumbled into pieces. Still able to revive himself. Like this is like one of the most broken abilities ever in Bleach. Like one of the most.
Okay. I guess I will.
Which, by the way, I would like to also mention that this also does help with my. I'll just evolve and then be on your level because I gain power, speed, and strength. I mean, power, speed, and size.
Okay then. I'll just argue that if I can't kill you, then I will BFR you then.
Good luck.
And alright then. So Dr. Doom, he's able to. Ooh. Alright, so Dr. Doom, one of his abilities is to tear the barrier between dimensions. So he'll just use that to throw you in there.
Dude, that's not gonna work. Yhwach has like the shadow ability. It basically acts like a form of portal that allows him to go from different dimensions. Every single Quincy has it, by the way.
Then I'll just argue that Doom can hijack your teleportation and make it so that you only just teleport back to that same exact spot.
Wait, how though?
Like, if you want to present your counter, then you can. Like, that's
I do have a counter, even if I like Theoman that and assume you had it. I'll argue that Yhwach can just copy your power via yourself.
Hmm. I guess if that's the case, then I can just argue that well, I guess I'm just gonna. Well, first thing I'm gonna do, I guess I'm just gonna try to grandstand like how, because I've been able to work on like a truly conceptual level. Like, are those abilities like really that potent to work on such a conceptual level?
Wait, what?
Like, I'm saying like the potency of your ability, you wouldn't be like strong enough because it's like my tech is able to work on a truly conceptual level. So,
This might sound retarded. This might. This might. So, believe me. Does Doctor Doom's technology attack a soul because your stuff is technological? I'm spiritually based.
well, conceptual should be above like spiritual anyway, but like it
Depends on how a verse in fiction can work. Unless that's how it works in Marvel.
Hold on. Not finished. All right, so for Doom, like you can argue that it works on a spiritual level anyway because his Doom has been able to absorb the power cosmic from Silver Surfer, and the power cosmic is like also spiritual in nature. And if you're wondering, actually, no, I don't really need to bring that up now.
What, are you there? Because you were still talking.
Oh, I'm still here. Like, I was finished actually.
I see. Oh wait, can Doctor Doom like just be a for like Yhwach and just stay still in the same dimension?
Yes.
Curiosity.
Yeah, he can.
Alright, so argue via antithesis, he can switch that. Its power also rivals that of the Almighty, by the way. So I'll argue even if the shadow ability doesn't work and the yourself doesn't work, I'll argue via antithesis, Yhwach can just switch his location with Doctor Doom.
Well, then I would just argue that Doom can reopen the space between dimensions and just hop right back in. Or alternatively, Yhwach could all this time just have been fighting a Doom bot. Because, like I said, he does have an army of them. And it would even be in character because Doom is a very intelligent in person, so he wouldn't just blindly rush into battle, and he kind of uses Doom bots just in case he doesn't feel like risking his own life.
So I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to imply, but are you trying to imply layers of BFR? So even if antithesis work, I might be fighting a Doombot, so Doom can just send me back. That's what you're trying to argue?
I feel like if Doom could just be fighting a Doombot, that just means that at the antithesis, even if it does work, that it wouldn't matter because he would just be fighting a Doombot. Or alternatively, I would just argue that even if he is fighting the real Doom, he can still open the barrier between dimensions and just hop right back into the dimension.
I'll argue that to make sure that Doom does stay in that dimension to put force on that BFR argument that I have, I'll argue via balance. Please be nice to me. Okay, let me get the scans. All of them. I'll argue via balance. Doom will just stay there.
Well, then I guess I can just grandstand the Doombot argument if that's the case, because if he's switching it, if he's trying to maintain the balance, and he's gonna try to keep Doom in there, then I could just argue that it's still a Doombot. And also, you said the antithesis is the one that rivals the Almighty. So I could just argue the balance again wouldn't be able to work on a truly conceptual level like that.
Well, wait, what? Are you trying to argue that the balance doesn't work on a true conceptual level, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I'll argue that because antithesis is a rival to the Almighty, like it's equal to the Almighty, then antithesis would work as well because because I'm still like grandstanding the point of like Almighty and conceptual nagging stuff. And since the balance is also equal to them, both antithesis and Almighty, I can grandstand that as well. So it does work as well on a conceptual level.
Well, okay, so for one, we left the whole conceptual negging thing up to the judges. So
you did kind of bring it up, and I thought I would also mention that as well.
all right then.
Yeah.
Well then I'll just mention that only the antithesis would be the thing that it's rivaling in the Almighty, and also, again, I'm just going to grandstand the fact that my circuitry that renders me immune to the time displacement stuff and time manipulation just is negging the Almighty anyway. So I just have that resistance to the Almighty anyway, and for the antithesis, then I would just be able to hop out of the dimension again. The balance isn't the thing that is proven to be near that. God damn it, Hudson. Like, the balance isn't the thing that is like relative to the Almighty. It's the antithesis. So if I'm already negging the Almighty and and I have a counter to the antithesis, and the balance isn't like on that level, then I would just argue that the balance is weaker. The Almighty is already being negged, and I have a counter to the antithesis.
I mean, we kind of left the Almighty thing to the judges. Like, conceptual stuff, like, we already left that point to them. I guess I'll just, like, bring up another one that I really want to use as well. Where is it? I have it right here. I guess I'll argue sealing via the jail. It just seals you away. Oh, and since it works on Ichigo, it gives like 3 layers like already of like sealing. Because like Ichigo has broken out of like 2 seals, like 2 high-level seals. And this one Ichigo wasn't able to break out of. So that means the jail has like 3 layers of sealing.
Alright, so for the jail and sealing, I guess I'm just gonna argue Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of grandstand the Doombot argument, and that like he could just be fighting the Doombot, so he wouldn't let that like hit him the next time. And even if he isn't fighting a Doombot, then he would be able. Then his armor would analyze what the jail is, and he would be able to avoid it because, again, like speed difference.
I'll still argue with compulsory, and Yhwach will combine the jail with the compulsory. As I've mentioned earlier, is that via compulsory, Yhwach can evolve. However, we also see that the compulsory's veins work on Quincy abilities as well, like the arrows, for example. Yes, as you can see right here as well, it works on inorganic matter.
Okay, so you're arguing evolution with sealing. And if that's the case, then I would just say that Doom avoids it the first time, and then BFR is Yhwach, and hijacks his teleport to keep him there.
Like I said, I still grandstand the antithesis to get Yhwach out of there. What did you say against like the compulsory veins? I want to know.
For the compulsory veins, then I guess I'm just gonna argue that he would. I guess I'm just gonna argue that he'll immobilize you, and then.
Alright, how will you immobilize me?
He can slow the vibrationary rate of someone, completely immobilizing them.
Scans?
Gotcha.
Wait, what is Doom using right there? I can't tell. I thought it was like touching, but it was touching the thing, but I can't tell.
He's not touching the thing. He's not touching the thing. It's more so like just like a beam. Or at least that's what it looks like.
I'll argue via death dealing that Yhwach will be immune to your attacks. If that's the case.
Hold on, I don't think you've argued death dealing before in this.
No, I never argued death dealing. I really wanted to get to this one.
Alright, then explain it.
Alright, so death dealing basically controls the lethal dosages of things. This allows Askin to do many things. This includes turning your blood poisonous, your body, so just by existing, you're dying. Or he can be immune to your attacks.
Well,
Wait, suppose that he is immune to your attack. Hands will be post him. Is this scan working or did I do something stupid? There we go.
okay. Like, I'll just argue that the beam isn't really an attack. More so, it's just manipulating you. Like, it's not attacking you or killing you. It's just slowing you down. It's just manipulating your body. And also for the blood acid part of it, then I could just argue Dr. Doom can not only manipulate himself on a subatomic level, but he's already like resisted that and much more, and was still like composed and was able to stand up. Like, he survived his heart being turned to stone, his blood to acid, and his molecule being destroyed by the Marquis of Death, and he was all right. Like, he still survived it.
Wait. It more emphasize the drawing right here for like the beam thingy. More emphasize that it says beam that's slowing you down. That looks more like it.
Yes.
The way he does it. Meh. Also, the death dealing allows you on to be immune to things like Yoruichi fired a lightning bolt at Askin. Askin was able to analyze her reishi and gained immunity to it. So with the beam, Yhwach can analyze your reishi, then he's immune to your attacks as a result, as I presented as well. So I'm still going to grandstand the immunity aspect.
Well, I guess since it's a cross for us today, we're equalizing stuff. But this is more so just technology. It's not even this isn't really a ability. It's just something that the machine is capable of doing. And even if you don't want to agree to that, which is fine.
I'm not sure why, like, something technological or, like, spiritually or whatever. Like, wait, why did you say that the technology part matters? I want to know.
Okay, so because, like, with what you said, he was able to analyze, like, the reishi and be immune to said ability. Well, I'm just going to argue that it's, like, since it's not, like, one of his real abilities, it's just something, it's just an effect from his technology, then it wouldn't 100% matter, because he's not negging an ability. He's trying to neg, like, his technology, which I don't know if that's...
I'll just argue that, like, since reishi basically, like, comprises everything in the Bleachverse. Like, even technology is made out of reishi. So I'll argue that the technology aspect doesn't matter because it's still made out of reishi, something of which that Yhwach and allies would be immune to as a result.
All right then. Well,
I can post the scans of like reishi, like comprising everything, if you want.
it's all right. I got it. And
All right.
I'm just gonna. I guess then I'll just argue that it. I guess I'll just argue that Yhwach can do it faster than he's going to perceive, really, because again he has that speed advantage, and it's not as simple as like 3 to 4 times. It's more like what you brought up is like trillions to quadrillions. I'm in quintillions, which is at the very least like hundreds of thousands times stronger. It's more so a comparison to the difference in 100,000. Like, think of the difference between 10,000 and a million. That's the difference between these.
Like I said, I still grandstand the compulsory, and even if you try to kill me in some way, I will grandstand both compulsory and the miracle, like increasing my speed on your level. Which I don't think. Wait, did he present like a counter to Yhwach evolving to his level or something? Warren?
I mean, to be fair, shouldn't that be something you're asking him? Because, like, Alistair, did you provide a counter for his like evolutionary stuff? Evolution.
For the miracle, for the miracle, I don't think I provided a counter. So I guess you're just gonna grandstand the miracle. Oh, and the compulsionary then. I guess I'm just gonna grandstand the conceptualness.
We already left the conceptual stuff to the judges. Like, we left it up to the judges.
All right then. All right, so I'm just gonna argue then. I guess I'm gonna argue absorption. Like, he'll just absorb like Yhwach's abilities. Because he actually has like 2 layers of absorption, as he was able to absorb like Silver Surfer's abilities, and Silver Surfer was able to resist into like his willpower, his energy, and his entire body being absorbed by Mephisto. So I'm just gonna argue that he absorbs your abilities.
I'll argue that like Reishi grants you a massive. I'm still gonna grandstand that like the absorption part won't work. Yhwach can just grant himself back these powers, but I won't ask I'll ask later on how does the absorption work. I'll ask later. But I'll also argue that Reishi grants you massive absorption resistances.
Okay, can you please explain?
So Yami, one of the Espada, has actually a soul absorption technique that he can use, where he sucks out your soul. Atsuki, one of Ichigo's friends, who is really sensitive to spiritual pressure, didn't have her soul sucked out. So that would imply that Reishi grants you a massive resistances to absorption.
I can just argue that my absorption is greater because not only is power cosmic spiritual in nature, or he was already he's able to absorb, Silver Surfer was able to resist all of that plus his willpower and his own body being absorbed. So just regular soul absorption resistance versus entire being resistance is kind of, I would just argue that my absorption absorbs soul on top of is so potent it could absorb soul on top of other things. It absorbed power from someone who was able to resist absorption on a higher level than just soul. That's what I was trying to argue.
I was looking for the scans, and let me get them. On. And this is really important. So, what is the power difference? How much of soul absorption resistances does Reishi grant you? You might be asking. Well, Tatsuki can only is human level. So let's see. What is the attack potency in for humans? I think, as you know, the Espada are country level. I think you know that, right?
Yes.
All right, so she's athlete level, so she can throw at best 300 joules of energy, and as you know, the Espada are country level, so it's fucking hell. This is a massive gap. This is a massive multiplier. It's in at the very least billions. It's at the very least in the billions.
Well, what I'm arguing is that the gap in power wouldn't really matter because the potency of
conclusion right now.
God damn it! All right.
No. Damn, I have so much else to say though.
Me too. I think
It's up to y'all.
Let me just do one more.
Yeah, we can just try one final argument and that's wraps.
All right, so
Alright,
do a 1v one. I'm just gonna try to end this in a funny tone. I'm gonna argue that Yhwach. Just one more. Yhwach is gonna use the love, Dr. Doom, and then GG.
Oof. All right.
So basically, Yhwach shoots this love beam at at you. So when it touches you, you fall in love with him, and you do whatever he wants. So Yhwach can just command Dr. Doom to kill himself in GG. What is Doom gonna do after that?
Alrighty then. I will just argue that Doom has not only resistance to mind manip, as he was able to see, resist, reveal, and reverse a mental attack from Red Skull, and also he has a psionic reactor to reflect mental attacks back at someone.
This is technically not. I'm gonna stop you right there. This is not like a mental manipulation. It's like empathy manipulation.
I'll stop you right there. Because, alright.
This is technically not like mind manipulation. It's technically empathy manipulation.
Hold on. Let me finish. Okay, so I know you probably think that emotional manip isn't the same as mind manip, but the thing is, everything is brought back to the mind, and there are certain parts of your brain that are able to get that shit out of here. So it has certain parts. There's certain parts of your brain that trigger emotional responses, and I have this article right here to support that. And so at the end of the day, if he can resist mind manipulation, he can reflect mind manipulation. I'm just going to argue he reflects the mind manip back at you, and then he'll order you to kill yourself.
All right, let me look at this article. This article works.
Also, the article from 2018, so it should technically still be relevant.
Let's see. Basic anatomy of emotion. All right. Let's see if there's something on love. Empathy. I can't find. I searched for something related to love, and I can't find it. Would you like to leave this one to the judges, actually?
No, what? Sure.
All right. You have one last thing?
Yep. I think I'll bring up one final point. And my final point would be... Alright. I think my final point will be molecular destruction, as he has a disrupt charge that's able to shatter the molecular structure of someone or something.
Again, I'll not only argue like Miracle can revive him from it, but I'll also argue other regenerative capabilities. Like again, the compulsory has presented like regeneration capabilities, like cut off a finger and then like made a whole other hand from that. And then like we have other things like X-axis regeneration. Like overall, I have like regenerative capabilities that allow me to counter that. The miracle alone should be enough.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna argue again. I guess I'm just gonna argue this again, that it's more so. Oh, like this isn't really killing you. It's more so just rendering you like just a dumb. It's like it's rendering you more so immobile. It's just like you can't do anything.
Again, I'll just argue. I could have just mentioned the visionary, but I left that one to the judges. So, I don't even need the visionary for this one. I just need like the superstar. Like, I have like a little being next to me that can like cheer me on, and I can regenerate from that, as I gain reliant immortality from that. And I still have like other regenerative stuff, like the compulsory and fucking x-axis. So I think so. I'm gonna actually show you the scans of regeneration as well for them.
Okay.
I've already presented miracle scans, right?
Yeah.
And finally, the x-axis one. I'm gonna present both scans like at the same time. Go for it. All right, there we go. So I don't even need like the miracle or fucking visionary to regenerate from that, or even almighty. I can just regenerate with these other shrifts.
All right.
Would you like to go to conclusions?
Exclusions.
Or do you want to still press on that point? Or do you want to still press? Hold on. Wait. Would you like to press on this point?
Nah, and since we agreed to like this to be our final point, then yeah, I guess we'll go to the judges. We'll go to
All right.
conclusions.
You go first.
All right then. This was a long one, so I need to scroll up a lot. All right, so for AP, you basically both proves that we're at just infinite uni plus. This for speed, I edged out in that, and you argue multiple stat amps to try to get to that. You argued the imaginary. You countered with reality warping. You argue clones. I argue clones and Doombots. You argued the Ichibes. He's negging being conceptual. I argued that I am on a higher level of conceptual or actual level conceptual, and I think that's the point we left up to the judges. And then to counter the Almighty, he brought up the time circuitry, which was able to resist this like temporal displacement effect, which is messing with timelines. You argued power null, I think, and you. Oh wait, no, you argued resistance to power null. I think I argued power null, and you argued resistance to it, and you argued evolution, which to counter that. Which I don't know if I presented a counter to that. You argued that. Okay, I argued BFR. You argued, I think, the antithesis. I argued hijacking your teleportation to keep you there. You argued copying my abilities. I think then you asked the question if, like, Doom's technology can work on a spiritual level. You argue back with being able to, like, work with power cosmic. I think then that's actually when you brought up the antithesis that rivaled the Almighty, at least as stated by Ryu. You brought up the balance, which I then argued, Doombots, and I'll just weaken the barrier between dimensions and hop right back in. You argued sealing, to which I argue. I think then you argued sealing, to which I argued I would speed blitz. You grandstanded your evolution. And I argued immobilization. You argued lethal dose. I argued absorbing all your abilities. And then you brought up the Reishi soul absorption resistance, and I brought up how, it's not really a power difference, more so it's a difference in potency. And then finally, like, you brought up the love, I argue emotions being tied to the brain, and he can reflect, and he already has resistance to mind manipulation, and he can reflect it back at you, so he'll just bring the love back at you and you'll kill yourself. And then I argued, I think you actually gave me that point, and I argued the subatomic structure destroying, and you argued the type 8 and the regeneration. I think that was the whole debate.
All right, so the conceptual stuff, I left it up to the judges for them to decide on who gets the point. But on my side, I got the death dealing points, so I negged his abilities and I can poison him through them. I've also
I argue.
Oh wait. As for the subatomic destruction, as for the subatomic destruction and everything, I have argued, even if the visionary or almighty or antithesis, the balance, none of those would work on Doom, even if you argued that. I still mentioned things like miracle, even if you said that, like, well, those don't kill you, huh? They just, like, immobilize him. I also mentioned, like, superstar, x-axis, compulsory, with their, like, reliant regenerations and immortalities and everything that you gain. I even had, like, another way around it, but most likely I didn't even need it, it seemed. As for evolution, I don't think he ever countered evolution. I don't think he ever did. As for time displacement, I agree. Doom is a causal, so Yhwach can't view his future. I agree. Antithesis can escape BFR, so I escaped his BFR through Antithesis. I don't even need the shadow ability. And empathy yeah, I think I gave him. I think he countered that. And yeah, I think that's it.
Alright, well, I guess I'll go first for my judgment. Okay, so going back to the Uni Plus stuff, let's look at this. Just give me a moment. Alright, scrolled a little too far up, but for the Uni Plus stuff, you guys did agree you were equal on that, but Alistair, you made one big mistake here. You could have definitely debunked Shinigami's Uni Plus stuff, because the scans he gave didn't really imply infinitely into Uni Plus, while you did provide multiple scans proving that you were into Uni Plus. So you did make a mistake by steel manning it. You could have easily had the edge in AP there. For speed, yeah, you did take that, but you also made another mistake for Shinigami speed. The number he gave wasn't 33 quadrillion times faster than light. It was actually 33 trillion times faster than light, which is the number he gave. So that's another one right there. What'd you guys argue for the first one, Con?
I think the first one was the imaginary.
Okay, the imaginary. So this is pretty much where he can make himself equal to you, and then you counter this what?
I countered this with the prime mover.
Oh yeah, the prime mover. I do give this is actually a hard one, but did you guys leave this to the judges?
No.
We actually said that we left it to the judges.
Alright, with the prime mover, yeah, that kind of does give Alistair the slight edge here, so I'm gonna have to give that to Alistair. Then you guys argued, and then Alistair argued Doom bots, and then Shinigami tried countering this with precog. Then Alistair tried countering this with skill and his body precog, and I do have to give this to Alistair. But Shinigami, you could have easily countered. You could have easily used precog to your advantage. You could have easily said yeah, the type of precog I have is better than your precog. So yeah, you could have easily won the point with that. But since that was never mentioned, I'm gonna have to give this to Alistair. Conceptual, I definitely give this to Alistair. He definitely did prove his conceptual was 100% concrete. While on the other hand, with Shinigami, I don't feel like Shinigami really 100% proved that he was conceptual, so I'm gonna have to give that to Alistair. And then, what'd you guys argue after conceptual?
Then I argued the special circuitry resisting the Almighty, so the Almighty wouldn't work on Doom, and he gave that point. Okay,
yeah, the Almighty was countered. Then Alistair tried arguing BFR, and then Shinigami tried countering with his own portal stuff, and then Alistair did prove that he can hijack his shit. So I'm gonna have to give that to Alistair. Then you guys tried to argue this whole spiritual thing. I also do give this to Alistair because he blatantly did prove that he can absorb spiritual energy. What else? Sealing. I do give this to Shinigami. He did argue multiple layers of sealing. So I do give sealing to Shinigami, but then Alistair tried to argue, immobilizing, but then Shinigami brought up the whole dosage thing. So pretty much it pretty much like makes you like immune to ability, so I give that to Shinigami. And then what'd you guys argue next?
I think he argued molecular level destruction, and I argued regeneration countered, but I think I missed something.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
first
yeah,
I argued absorption
Yeah, I
to
know.
counter it, and I brought up how my absorption works on a higher potency than his because it was
like with the
because it was
whole
spiritual.
with the whole like spiritual like absorption thing, I do give that to Alistair, but with like the whole like molecular destruction thing, Shinigami, were you able to like prove that you could regenerate on a molecular level?
I regenerated from much more than that, I think, and I've proven as well with like x-axis and
Like something
miracle regen. I can counter that.
with like wait, did you say like above molecular or smaller than molecular?
I think I can. I think with like miracle x-axis and like superstar, I already can counter those.
Alright, then I guess I'm gonna have to give the edge to Shinigami in that. And then Alistair, you tried arguing Shinigami tried arguing like empathy manipulation, something like that. Alistair pretty much did blatantly counter that with like, like emotions, like, at the end of the day, still going back to the brain. So I do have to give that to Alistair. Then, yeah, empathy manip was like the last point, right?
That was a little out of order,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was all the point.
All right, yeah. So overall, I do give this debate to Alistair. I think he won with like low mid diff. But Shinigami did do really well. I actually do feel he did like a better job pressing on points than Alistair, but Alistair did take, most of the points, so I do have to give this to Alistair overall.
Okay, now for my judgment, I'm gonna make this quick for infinite. So basically for the first point, you guys, you guys both agree. Now for speed, I'm gonna give this point to Alistair because Alistair did prove that his speed was higher. Okay, so now for next, I'm just gonna point out certain points. Now with the whole conceptual and spiritual stuff, Shinigami, conceptual is above spiritual, so I give that point to Alistair. But good job. But I'm very proud of Shinigami for pressing on points and actually staying confident and arguing very well. To be honest, Shinigami, this was actually one of the best debates that I have ever seen. So good job to you. Pat yourself on the back. Also, good job to Alistair too, because he argued extremely very good and well. Now, for my overall, well, basically everything what Slick said, but my overall judgment for this, I give this to Alistair with mid difficulty because you guys were both of you guys were swapping hands constantly back and forth. And you guys are both countering points for points. So yeah, mid difficulty. But Shinigami, you actually did very good in this debate, and I'm very proud of you. But I give this debate to Alistair.
Well, I was going to go last, but the thing is, it would be kind of unnecessary in a way for me to even judge because it's 2 out of 3 already. So, and I pretty much agree overall with what the others say to a decent extent. So I virtually agree. And there's really nothing else to really add on. I would say I would actually give it a higher diff though, from my own perspective, right? If I were to say anything, right, other than agreeing with y'all for the most part, I would say it was more of a high mid, possibly even a high diff on this one. But that's just me. So yeah, I would say Alistair took it like high mid to, high into mid diff or high diff. But all right, with that, good debate for both y'all.